I'm sitting here with Maxwell Duncan. Give your full name to the camera, please.
My name is Maxwell Allen Duncan.
And how old are you?
I will be 27 in less than 2 weeks.
Okay. So, tell me, Max, why acting?
Well, I've never received actual training for acting. I've never taken a single acting class. But ever since I was maybe 5 or 6 or 7 years old, watching, back at that time, Jim Carrey did like 3 movies in a row that were amazing, his debut movies. I did a lot of impressions of him, did impressions of Robin Williams, other actors like that. And I've just enjoyed making people laugh. And so it just naturally progressed into acting in later in life. And I've always been a big fan of movies in general. I'm not like incredibly knowledgeable on film history and things like that, but movies I do enjoy enough to want to make my own.
Any specific films that inspired you the most growing up to make movies?
I couldn't say. I have movies that I love and are my favorite movies, but I can't say any particular ones inspired me to make this path, really. Like a lot of people say, this movie is what made me want to be a filmmaker, or this movie made me want to be an actor, or this performance made me want to be an actor. I don't have any of those specifically. There are performances that I wanted to get to the level of at some point. One of my favorite performances ever is Gary Oldman in The Fifth Element. And he himself just doesn't enjoy the whole mention of the movie in general. But he's so interesting as a character, and there's little ticks and things that I've always wanted to figure out how to get to that point. That's how I've always seen performances and acting is I want to do something that nobody expects me to. I don't want to just read the script and then say the words and have a cookie cutter performance of I'm sad, therefore I'm portraying sad. I'm happy, therefore I'm portraying happy. There's micro expressions that show true emotion versus a real face, or true emotion versus a facade that we do, and those are the ones I'm more interested in than just I'm sad, so I'm I'm sad, so I'm and the ability to trigger those different expressions and make the audience feel them, that transaction is what I'm interested in.
Do you remember the first show you ever did?
So the first show I ever did, I actually didn't get to perform it. We had, in 5th grade, we had a drama class, and I was going to be playing a paintbrush named Art, and it was a experimentation on blending of famous artworks and famous music, and art and melody, a treble clef, were were the hosts, and going in between and introducing everything. And when it came to the performance time, because I was a turd of a student, I never did my homework. I wasn't allowed to perform because I didn't do my homework. So they made me sit and watch as my understudy performed while I did homework in the cafeteria with everybody else sitting there enjoying the performance. And the guy they got to play Art, his name, no shit, was Wade Wilson. I think his dad is a big comic book fan. And Wade forgot the lines, and they were standing there. Because if it's in 5th grade, they don't know how to recover. So they're standing there for like 2 minutes, trying to think of the next line, and I'm in the audience, and I'm like, saying the line to myself. I know what it is, because that was my part. They were just turds about it. And I wanted to stand up and yell the line out for him, but that was rude, so I didn't do it. But it's just kind of funny. My first performance, I didn't even get to perform.
Are there any roles in the whole of film and stage that you would love to take on?
Well, I think every musical theater person at some point wants to be in the Phantom of the Opera. And I myself would love to play the Phantom. And as far as like vocal performance, I'm not even close. I haven't received much vocal training either. But the understanding of the character is there. Thankfully, I have like 20 years left to still be able to play him in a respectable age range. So I'm not too worried about it right now. There are other stuff. Specifically for movies, I actually would love to play either Dick Grayson, Nightwing, in a DC movie, or Nova in a Marvel movie. And when they came out with the Nova Corps in the first Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, damn it, they're already going to have somebody in mind. But Nova is a great character, and Nightwing is one of my favorite characters of all time. Other than that, I mean, big franchise things, of course, like, I have particulars. I would love to do a film version of Much Ado About Nothing and play Benedict, because he's so freaking awesome. He's one of my favorite Shakespearean characters of all time. And I have little side projects where I'm working on just doing them myself, not worrying about waiting for somebody to try to do it and then hoping to get cast. I'm just working on making my way. And Shakespeare is public domain, so that's the easy part about that one.
What is it about theater, the arts in general, that drew you in?
I feel like my entire life goal, my life purpose, the reason that I am here is to entertain. Even as a kid, like, at the core of me, all I wanted was to make people laugh. And that's driven everything that I've ever done. Even dramatic roles, too. Most recently, when I did a show for Rialto Community Players, I did On the Night of January 16th by Ayn Rand. And I played the villain. I played Guts Reagan, an Irish gangster. And although this is a more serious show, we didn't play it as a farce, although we certainly could have. There were wonderful moments where I didn't make them laugh because I did anything particularly funny. I made them laugh because I did what the character would do. And it's not throwing jokes, but it's it's moments, the beautiful moments where it's like, yes. And you laugh because it's like, that's so cool that they were able to do that. And so, like, very intense moment. The DA's getting in my face, and he's asking, what's your real proof? And I tell him, well, we got a lot of dirty work to do, you and I. And, you're a district attorney, and I, well, you know what I am. It's a serious moment, but the audience can appreciate his vagueness. And he says, but do you think that we're both so low that if something passes us to which one kneels, we no longer have eyes to see it? I loved her. She loved Faulkner. And I go, that's our only proof. And it's an intense moment, and it's, this guy, this gangster, by all rights he shouldn't be there. He's having an intense standoff with the DA, and he knows the DA can't do a single thing about it. And it's a moment that's not funny for the characters in place. It's a little funny for Guts. But to the audience, that's a great, cool moment, And so, you can get away with poop jokes and fart jokes, because they're easy laughs, they're cheap laughs, they'll always be funny until the end of time. And you can throw the cheap stuff out, but the real craft is in finding those moments where things aren't supposed to be funny and eliciting a laugh. And those are the moments that I live for.
Mm-hmm. What, if anything, is your ultimate goal in this business? What do you hope to leave behind when you have, in the words of Shakespeare, shuffled off this mortal coil?
Honestly, in theater specifically, my goal is purely networking. Do shows and familiarize myself with shows, meet a ton of new people, actors and actresses, and collaborators that I can work with, meet new writers and stuff. And then from there, it's just a stepping stone into my true goal, which is my vision of success is if something I've created is a topic of mine is handled on like game theory or something. If I can do a series of films that gets enough notoriety that film theory does kind of a thing on it, then I know I've made it somewhere. I know I've left my mark on the world, and I can rest easy knowing that portion of my goal is done, and then I can just continue on with the rest of my life doing whatever I want. Making whatever I want to create. I have a ton of ideas. I have a person of my social standing and financial standing has so many ideas that are far beyond my capabilities, and I just need to be out there. And once I'm out there, I have projects for the rest of my life. And that's just even if half of them don't get done, I'm coming up with new ideas every day. It's never a problem of ideas. I have too many. I don't know what to do with. But I want to complete them. And so, like I said, the goal is to achieve a level of notoriety, and then spend time with young filmmakers. Even I don't even need bigwig corporations. As long as I'm making films, I'd be so happy.
If you could work with any big name, collaborate with them on either one of their projects or even one of your own, who is the first choice?
See, and what's funny about the answer is that I consider them big name, but they themselves probably wouldn't consider them big name. And I would love to do a video with Olin Rogers. He has a show that's reached international level, and so I would consider him famous at this point in his career. But I met him before. I interviewed him. I've been following him since like 2008, 2009. And hi Dallas. I would love to do one of his videos. Just like one of my favorites is Smoking Barrels. And it's just such a silly, short, and so fun. It's fun. Like it doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense. It doesn't, it's not incredibly thought-provoking. It's fun. I don't need to create the next, incredibly, I don't know, thought-provoking piece. I don't need to create something that changes society. I just need to make something that's fun and that makes people laugh and that people enjoy. That's what I care about. I couldn't give two craps about anything else, really. As far as the art form of it is concerned, I don't understand. This might be a little off topic. It's definitely off topic for the question, but I don't understand paintings all that much. Other forms of art, like visual art, like that, unless they're rooted in like actual reality, like pictures of people and stuff. They don't appeal to me because I don't understand them, and because even in my films, I'm not trying to be artsy. I'm trying to be fun, and entertaining. That's the goal there. So that's the same feel that I get from Olin Rogers. There's definitely like dramatic moments, actual tension, like conflict. Not to say he doesn't have any of those, but at the core of each of his projects, they're just a bunch of fun.
I'll take.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Duncan. And,
Of course.
hopefully we can interview you again sometime.
Maybe.